Well, I grew up in the small town of Lexington, Kentucky, listening to country music, Christian music, gospel music, Southern gospel music, pop music, R&B music, any kind of music. I was a fan of music. And I had realized at an early age through listening to my mom and dad sing and my grandparents sing that I had a God-given gift, and I was able to use that. So I started singing in church. I had an opportunity, fast forward to the end of high school, I had an opportunity to attend Cincinnati Bible College on a vocal scholarship. And that's when I had left. Just before I had accepted that scholarship, I had left to become a Backstreet Boy. And here we are 13 and a half years later. So I'm back to my roots of my first love and my first joy. Well, when I think of home, my wife and I have a philosophy that home is wherever she is, my son is, and I can be. Wherever the three of us can be together, that is home. Sometimes it's in a hotel room. A lot of times it's in a hotel room. But sometimes we get a chance to enjoy our place in Atlanta, Georgia. But I think home is a place of fellowship. It's a place of love. And, wherever we are together, that's home for me. It's pretty neat to hear it. I don't hear it a lot on the radio anymore other than the easy listening stations or in the elevators at hotels. But I Want It That Way will always have a special place in my heart. Like I said, it's really what the Backstreet Boys will probably forever be known for. And it's a touching song, it's an uplifting song, and I'm just proud to be able to go to work every day and do something that I'm passionate about and that I love, and I Want It That Way turned out very great. There's a funny story about that song. I bought my first house in Orlando, Florida, many years ago. This was when my wife and I first started dating, a little over 9 years ago, actually. And we had a landscaping company that was helping us with the yard. Because of my travel schedule, I wasn't able to do it because I was never home. And my wife started talking to a young man that was on the landscaping staff. And they had this small little conversation about songwriting and, what does your boyfriend do, and da-da-da-da-da. And so she started telling, him who I was and that I travel a lot. And he said, well, my dad is a songwriter. And she was like, really? Well, has he written any songs? And he said, well, he wrote this song called Don't Take the Girl. Have you heard of this song? And my wife's jaw just drops. And she was like, she calls me on the phone and she's like, baby, our landscaper, his dad wrote, Don't Take the Girl. So it's always had a special, that's the funny story about it, but the song has always had a special place in my heart. I'm a songwriter, I'm a producer, I'm an artist, and that song touches me like any other special song that tells a story and paints a picture, and it paints a beautiful picture of a relationship. I am a country fan, I am a music fan, I am an everything fan. I think as an artist, I enjoy listening to all kinds of music just because that's made me a well-rounded artist, hopefully. And will continue to in the future. But I'm a big country fan. I grew up, like I said, in Lexington, Kentucky, so I had anything and everything on the radio. And not that I really wanted to be a star, but God's blessed me in many, many ways. So I heard "Gone Without Goodbye" from a friend of mine, the writer. His name is Billy Mann, and we had done some work with him on the Backstreet records in the past. And he played me "Gone Without Goodbye" several years ago. And he told me this touching story about when he was in Nashville, Tennessee, headed to a studio to do a live session with a band. And he showed up to the studio that morning, and there were no session players, there were no studio musicians there. And he started getting on the phone calling everybody, like, where's everybody at? And some of the guys that were supposed to be at the studio said, had you not seen the news? The trade centers had been attacked, and so he started wondering why. His initial thought was people want to take our joy and our passion away, and so he was giving them this inspirational speech of why they should come back to the studio and record the song. And as he was doing that, he started writing down what he was visually seeing on the news. And I'll never forget hearing that song because it's catchy right off the first line. You know, have you seen my son? Not too tall, 5'8". There's so many things that our world has gone through since September 11th, and it's a very, very touching song. Wow, I love Tim McGraw. I like Alan Jackson. It's, you know, back in the day when Amy Grant was singing country music and contemporary Christian music and gospel music, and there's just been so many. I mean, Johnny Cash, you can go as far back as that. I love Johnny Cash. My son loves Johnny Cash. So we listen to it all. Coming up for me, I will have a very busy fall. I'm looking forward to it. I will be traveling all over Canada starting November 17th. And I will travel through Canada all the way until just before Christmas. The new year, the Backstreet Boys will be launching a brand new record. So I will be heavily in pursuit of promoting that, as well as touring myself in supporting the Welcome Home CD that came out earlier this year in May. So I'm excited about it. God is moving mountains in my life very, very fast, and I just go where He has me go.